Welcome back, my creative creatures. Today we're diving deep into the world of container gardening soil preparation. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just starting out, understanding the fundamentals of soil composition is key to growing happy, healthy plants that yield a bountiful harvest. So grab your gardening gloves and let's get started. Before we dive into the specifics, let's talk about the essential elements that should be present in your container garden soil. Keep in mind, you're doing this in a pot, so the things that you take for granted that are in the environment are not going to be there. We have to put them there. These elements provide the necessary nutrients, aeration, and water retention for your plants to thrive. So here are the 5 essential elements. Number 1, organic matter. Compost or well-rotted manure enriches the soil with essential nutrients and improves its structure. Number 2, aeration. Perlite or vermiculite helps improve soil drainage and aeration, preventing compaction and allowing the roots to breathe. 3, acidity regulation. Lime adjusts the pH level of the soil, ensuring optimal nutrient availability for plant uptake. Number 4, water retention. Coco coir or peat moss help retain moisture in the soil, reducing the frequency of watering and providing a consistent water supply to plants. And finally, number 5, nutrient release. Bone meal slowly releases essential nutrients like phosphorus, promoting healthy root development and flowering. Let's discuss some of the common soil amendments and their properties to help you decide what's best for your container garden. A lot of times with my gardening, some of the things that I buy is dependent upon cost. So when determining whether you're going to purchase something, it's important that you know the properties of those soil amendments so that you can decide what is best for your container garden. Perlite versus vermiculite. Perlite provides excellent drainage and aeration, while vermiculite retains the moisture. Depending on your plant's needs, you may want to use a combination of both for balanced soil structure. Coco coir versus peat moss. Both coco coir and peat moss improve water retention, but coco coir is a more sustainable option and has a neutral pH compared to the acidic nature of peat moss. I have found that peat moss is significantly cheaper, so that might factor into your decisions. Manure versus compost. While both are rich in nutrients, compost is safer and easier to handle in container gardening. It's also less likely to introduce weed seeds or pathogens compared to fresh manure. Personally, I purchase my manure from the store, so that's not usually a problem. It's usually safe and there's no pathogens in it. Mulch versus wood chips. Mulch helps retain moisture, suppress weeds, and regulates soil temperature. Wood chips, on the other hand, decompose slowly and may rob nitrogen from the soil during decomposition. Grit versus gravel versus sand. Grit provides drainage and stability to the soil. Gravel aids in drainage but may not be suitable for all plants due to its weight, while sand improves drainage but may lead to compaction over time. So again, what you might want to do is a combination of these elements depending on the type of soil that you're working with. So what's the ideal ratio for mixing your own container garden soil? Well, it depends on your plant's needs. A general guideline is 50 to 60% organic matter, so that's your compost or your well-rotted manure, 20 to 30% aeration, which is your perlite or your vermiculite, 10 to 20% water retention, which is coco coir or your peat moss. Then optionally, you can add a cup or 2 of lime for soil pH adjustment, also a cup or 2 of bone meal for soil phosphorus enrichment. You may be thinking, whoa, Trina, that's a lot of things to worry about. I just wanted to know what's the quickest, easiest way to get my soil ready for container gardening. Okay, so you want a bare bones basic mix. For a basic mix, you can start with just the organic matter and aeration components at a 3-to-1 ratio, adjusting for needs based on your plant's preferences. So you're going to start with about 3/4 of like mulch or compost, and then you're going to add like 1/4 of peat moss. or coco coir. And there you have it, folks. By understanding the properties of different soil amendments and their roles in container gardening, you can create the perfect growing medium for your happy, healthy plant. Experiment with different combinations. Observe how your plants respond. And don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.